In the grounds of the oldest rum distiller in Venezuela, something unusual is taking place. A rugby game. Venezuela is not a rugby nation, and neither of these typical players. They are prisoners, and this is their biannual tournament. The event is part of an innovative project set up by this man. Alberto Volmer is the fifth generation owner of the rum company which is hosting the games. It's a showcase for his view that in business and in life you have to make peace with your enemies. It's a lesson he learnt the hard way. Sugar and rum, the national spirit of Venezuela, has been produced in this beautiful valley for over 200 years. The Volmer family settled here from Germany in the 1800s. Their business boomed, partly thanks to their early adoption of new technology, including a direct connection to the country's first railway line. To this day, thousands of bottles are produced here every week and sold all over the world. Santa Teresa is one of Venezuela's best-known export brands. The hacienda may look serene, but this has been a fragile piece. Just outside the plantation is La Sabaneta. Like many small Venezuelan towns, it's had a serious problem with gangs. In the early 2000s, the criminals were in control here. Kidnappings were commonplace. The murder rate was one of the highest in the entire country.
It's a huge national network of organized crime. And of course you had in this region, you have in every slum you have a different gang, but most of those gangs basically are parented by this national criminal organization. And of course, we were attacked in 2003 by one of these gangs.
That year, 3 men entered the rum company's grounds, beat up a security guard and stole his weapon. It was seen as a warning of dangerous times ahead. But one of the criminals was caught. He could have been jailed or worse, until Volmer decided to make him an offer. He said he would drop charges if the 3 accused came to work at the hacienda. They all agreed.
We were able to offer them work to make up for their assault. They started working, then we got the whole gang.
The company then realized that it was no use just recruiting one gang. It needed to get the message out to the wider criminal underground. One way to do that was to enter this country's prisons. Representatives from the project visited Venezuela's notorious Tocoron jail, then one of the most violent and overcrowded prisons in the country. It was built for 750 inmates, but became home to more than 5,000.
So we entered Tocoron, which was basically the headquarters of the biggest criminal organization in the country. So we took rugby in there. Basically, we used rugby as a platform to teach 5 values. We focused on respect, discipline, teamwork, humility, and sportsmanship, which are 5 values that many times in Venezuela we forget, we overlook. And what we say is that if you can live your life with those 5 values, basically you'll almost surely be successful.
The company now puts between 1% and 2% of its revenues into the project, which it calls Alcatraz. It regularly hosts these rugby tournaments between prison teams. It's a good way to settle differences, and as it's a new game for almost everyone, it's a leveller too. But there's more to this than rugby. The project also operates a reintegration plan for gang members. We were taken to this house in La Sabaneta. It was once a gang headquarters, not the sort of place an outsider would ever walk into. All the men wearing blue t-shirts here were once members of a notorious extortion group in the town called Number 11. The building has just been refurbished and painted a symbolic pure white. It's going to become a distribution centre for the rum company.
Well, this house used to be the gang headquarters. They, when they used to be a gang, a criminal gang, they prepare all the plans, operations in this place here. They also, all the guns, all the vest, bulletproof vest, everything, they keep it here. Even if they kidnap someone, they keep it here.
Gangs in Venezuela have this kind of formidable, frightening reputation, and yet you seem particularly like a very cool customer about this.
I never felt afraid of them. Even from the beginning, I feel confident. I feel confident because we are trying to give something good. And of course they belong to a gang and everything, but these guys are human beings and they understand if you want to help, you're welcome.
The gang members' adaptation to the non-criminal world is a process which takes several months. One important part of this is group therapy. Ante Herrera was a leader of the Number 11 gang in La Sabaneta. He has said he's participated in murders, kidnappings, robberies and extortion. He was never imprisoned.
Siempre he dicho que era una persona inmadura, una persona que quería aparentar algo ante la sociedad, de vestirme bien, tener las mejores motos, la mejor vestimenta. Con muchos compañeros conformamos una banda. Y eso te arropaba como en un círculo vicioso, en donde tenías que hacer ese tipo de cosas para que fueras aceptado en la banda.
He was first approached to join the project in 2018. His gang initially rejected the offer.
Y comenzamos a hablar de este proceso de negociación, donde nos hacen la propuesta para ver si queríamos entrar en el proyecto Alcatraz. Pero como nosotros éramos una banda muy organizada, desconfiamos de todo. Para nosotros toda persona era un enemigo.
But contact continued, and in 2020 the group finally accepted the proposal and began the conversion course.
Y esto de una manera nos ayuda a alejarnos de ese mundo donde veníamos de oscuridad, en dejar nuestras armas y comenzar una nueva vida como lo somos hoy en día, que somos ejemplos para nuestra comunidad, nuestra familia.
Murders in the area have dropped significantly.
Ha sido muy exitoso, porque le damos tranquilidad a nuestro municipio, por lo menos con la parte de lo que es la distribuidora, podemos generar trabajo a otras personas de la misma comunidad, y yo creo que este es un proceso de evolución.
Ante is now a brand ambassador for the company. Santa Teresa Rum has successfully used this project as part of its global marketing campaign.
Hacemos nuestras maletas y organizamos la documentación.
Marielis Palma, another Project Alcatraz graduate and brand ambassador, is perfecting her cocktail-making skills and rehearsing her lines.
I used to be behind bars. Now, I am behind a bar.
A former government customs agent, she says she was unjustly imprisoned for a year and a half as part of a clampdown against a corruption network of which she says she had no part. From a government job to prison to this.
Bueno, sí es un poco distinto a lo que allá yo hacía, aunque yo tenía trato con el público en mi trabajo anterior, pero sí es un poco difícil. Todos estos acompañamientos y estas instrucciones que nos han dado con profesores clasificados nos han hecho aprender muchísimo. Es una educación que va a ser mía para siempre.
Back on the rugby pitch, the games continue. And there's another sign of bridge building in action. The Minister for Prisons from the government of President Maduro, an administration which has had a sometimes fractious relationship with private business, is here.
Los que ingresan a esta disciplina, luego pues quieren quedar y se sienten bien contentos. Hoy estuve entrevistando a los privados de libertad y todos pues manifiestan que ellos se sienten muy felices de formar parte de este equipo del rugby.
One of the teams is largely made up of foreign players. It's captained by Sonny Oliver, a Honduran convicted drug trafficker who's serving his 11th year of a 15-year jail sentence.
I started playing rugby right here in prison about 5 years ago. I didn't know anything about playing rugby. I had just seen rugby in television, just interviews and stuff. But my first time of playing rugby was being in prison.
For Sonny, who says he was caught red-handed at sea, this day is particularly special. A first opportunity to see Venezuela beyond his prison window.
Sí, exacto. Yo no conozco Venezuela así en libertad. Nunca había vivido aquí. Todo el tiempo que llevo preso. Entonces, una salida como esta, para mí, es un respiro bien bueno, ¿verdad?
For many of the players, which this year includes female prisoners for the first time, it's all a very rare day out. And for some, an opportunity to see their families. Mayeling Marchan, serving a sentence for robbery, says the project has changed her life.
Ha llenado tanto mi vida que ha cambiado mi forma de hablar, mi forma de caminar, la forma de expresarme, mi comportamiento, la forma de a veces ver las cosas que antes como que me molestaban muchísimo todo, pues. Ahorita aprendí a que los problemas, los problemas son como unos tacles, ¿sabes? Que si me lo dan, de una vez me levanto y avanzo, que tengo que tomar las cosas malas y sacar lo bueno y aprovechar el momento y seguir adelante, es lo que tengo que hacer, pues.
She has no doubt of the value of what she's been offered.
Eso es un acto de amor, de valentía, de creer y confiar en las segundas oportunidades.
For the founder of this project, seeing the fruits of something which began with a burglary 18 years ago is sometimes overwhelming. He told these young women, all prisoners, that they represent the hope of Venezuela.
You tend to catalog people as enemies, or you tend to catalog people as, irrecuperable. You stick them in jails, at least in Venezuela, you stick them in jails, and that's almost like a human trash can, right? And then with the work we've done in the jails or with the gangs, suddenly you realize the infinite potential of these individuals. And if you just can work on the good side and develop their good side, suddenly you see this new person that doesn't mean they changed. It just means they developed the good side, which is the side that everybody wants to develop.
Y termina el juego. Campeones, Simón Bolívar.
That's the message of this inspiring project. Give people a chance, sometimes a second chance, and everyone wins.